house, very big house, worth thousands of rupees rent, but it was ghostly haunted. So nobody would like to take that house. I took it at 200 rupees, a very big house, and all the servants, they complained, saw there is ghost. So I was chanting. He was living in several spots, especially on the gate side, so I could understand. But I would chant Hare Krishna, and I was saved. Everyone was saved. And say in 1969, I was guest in the house of John Lennon in London. So there was a ghost it was a big plot. There was a guest house. So they complained, sir, here is a ghost. So I advised them to chant Hare Krishna. And the ghost went away. Yes, this is fact. When there is Hare Krishna chanting, these ghostly, demoniac living entities, they will not be able to stay. They will go away. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jaya Mudhiraye Nashtapraye Shabadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, Texts 9, 10 and 11. 9 and 10 I will read it by myself. Satham virajam arkhabam sita padmotpala srajam snigdha neelalaka vrata Vaktrabjam Virajombaram. Translation. Kardama Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free from material contamination, in his eternal form, effulgent like the sun, wearing a garland of white lotuses and water lilies. The Lord was clad in spotless yellow cloth, and his lotus face was fringed with slick dark locks of curly hair. 10. Kiritinam kundalinam shankar kridanakam manasparsha smitekshanam. Translation. Adorned with a crown and earrings, he held his characteristic conch, disc and mace in 3 of his hands and a white lily in the 4th. He glanced about in a happy smiling mood, whose sight captivates the hearts of all devotees. Text 11. Vinyasta charanam bhojam Vinyasta charanam bhojam Amshadeshe Garutmataha Amshadeshe Garutmataha Društva Khe Avastitam Vakshaha Društva ke vastitam vakshaha Shriyam Kaustubha Kandaram Shriyam Kaustubha Kandaram Vinyascha Charanambojam Amshadeshe Garutmataha Društva ke vastitam vakshaha Shriyam Kaustubha Kandaram. Vinyastya, having been placed, Charanambujam, lotus feet, Amshadeshe, on the shoulders, Garutmataha, of Garuda, Drustva, having seen, Khe, in the air, Avastitam, standing, Vakshaha, on his chest, Shriyam, auspicious mark, Kaustubha, the Kaustubha gem, Kandaram, neck. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Srila Prabhupada. Translation, a golden streak on his chest, the famous Kaustubha gem suspended from his neck. He stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda. Please repeat, a golden streak on his chest, the famous Kaustubha gem suspended from his neck. He stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The descriptions in verses 9 to 11 of the Lord in his transcendental eternal form are understood to be descriptions from the authoritative Vedic version. These descriptions are certainly not the imagination of Kardama Muni. The decorations of the Lord are beyond material conception, as admitted even by impersonalists like Shankaracharya. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has nothing to do with the material creation. The varieties of the Transcendental Lord, His body, His form, His dress, His instruction, His words, are not manufactured by the material energy, but are all confined in the conformed in the Vedic literature. By performance of yoga, Kardama Muni actually saw the Supreme Lord as He is. There was no point in seeing an imagined form of God after practicing yoga for 10,000 years. The perfection of yoga therefore does not terminate in voidness or impersonalism. On the contrary, the perfection of yoga is attained when one actually sees the personality of Godhead in His eternal form. The process of Krishna consciousness is to deliver the form of Krishna directly. The form of Krishna is described in the authoritative Vedic literature Brahma Samhita. His abode is made of Chintamani stone, and the Lord placed there as a cowherd boy and is served by many thousands of gopis. These descriptions are authoritative, and a Krishna conscious person takes them directly, acts on them, preaches them, and practices devotional service as enjoined in the authoritative scriptures. Dasanasta Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhyanathimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Ena Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Kardama Muni had the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These three verses are describing the features, the bodily features of the Supreme Lord and other paraphernalia on his transcendental body. So here said, Satam Virajam Arkabham. Kardama Muni saw the Supreme Lord, who is Virajam. Raja means this material world, but Virajam is uncontaminated by these material modes. So the form that Kardama Muni saw doesn't belong to this material world. Then Arkabham, his body is as brilliant as the sun. Arka means sun. Arkabham. Sita Padmotpala Shrajam. And then on that eternal form there is a garland. Here it is mentioned Sita Padmotpala. There are two types of flowers. Padma, the lotuses, and then Utpala, lilies, white lilies. White lilies and white lotuses are put together as a garland, and the Lord is wearing such a garland. And then Snigdha Leela Laka Vrata. Snigdha means very smooth, very shiny. Snigdha Neela Laka, blackish, bluish hair is there. So there are locks of hairs on the border of the lotus face of the Supreme Lord. It said that Vaktrabjam Virajo Ambaram. The Lord's lotus face was fringed. It is bordered with slick dark locks of curly hair. His hair is curly hair, dark hair, but at the same time the hair is shiny, very smooth and shiny. So very scrutinizingly, Kardama Muni is observing the personality who is standing in front of him, and then he is able to see these beautiful varieties on the body of the Supreme Lord. Then Kiritanam Kundalinam. Kirita. Of course, the Lord is always having adorned with a crown, and Kundalinam means there are earrings. They are very nice, prominent earrings. Then Shankha Chakra Gadhadaram, he is holding the traditional, the characteristic, the paraphernalia. Shankha is holding one Shankha. For devotees, Shankha indicates knowledge and victory, ultimate victory, to cross over the ocean of material existence. The way we, so that is Shankha. Then Chakra, the brilliant Sudarshan Chakra in his hand, and by meditating on the chakra, by looking at it, the devotee can cross over. The chakra kills the 6 enemies in the hearts of the devotees. Shankha Chakra, Gadha. Gadha also punishes, and it destroys the sinful lust in our hearts. So he is holding Shankha Chakra Gadhadaram. Then Svetotpala, Kridanakam. He is holding one more Utpala and lily, Sveta, again white. He is holding a white lily in his fourth hand. And Kridanakam Manasparsha Smitekshanam. And then he is in a happy, smiling mood. He is smiling Smitekshanam and glancing on the Kardama Muni, the exalted Kardama Muni. And so it is Manasparsha, captivating the hearts of the devotees. The Lord's form, which is beautifully decorated, holding all this, the characteristic paraphernalia, are always attractive to the devotees. So when the devotees go on a pilgrimage, they see these beautiful forms of the Lord and they become captivated and they become engladdened in the hearts, and so that enthuses them more and more in their devotional service. This is the purpose of pilgrimage, to get fired up to do more and more service to the Lord. Then in the 11th verse it is said, Vinyastya charanambojam, the Lord has placed his lotus feet on Amshadeshe, on the shoulders of Garutmataha, on Garuda. So he is actually Drushtva. So the Lord is in the air, there is Garuda, and on the shoulders of Garuda the Lord is placed his Charanambojam, the lotus feet, and Avastitam Vakshaha. So he is situated like that in the air on Garuda, standing on Garuda, and Vakshaha Striyam. On the Vakshasthala there is a golden streak called Srivassa. It's a small golden streak of hairs on his chest. So that is Vakshashriyam Kaustubha Kandaram, and then he is wearing his Kaustubha Kaustubha jewel on his chest. So these are the descriptions from the authoritative scriptures, and Kardama Muni had a factual darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is quickly pointing it out that Kardama Muni has not seen any imaginary form. It is not that some kind of a form appeared in his mind. There is a personality of Godhead right in front of him in the sky, in the air, and he could see Garuda, and he can see the Supreme Lord standing on the shoulders of Garuda and having all these beautiful features, and the Lord is actually Smitekshanam. He is glancing on Kardama Muni with a smiling face, and the face is surrounded by locked hairs, a smooth flowing dark locked hairs. So that's the experience of Kardama Muni. So these descriptions are not imaginations, nor all this when we say Svetotpala, or here one more word that is used, Sita Padmotpala, compared to the white lotus and white lily, and also it is mentioned yellow silk, and then there is a garland. One should not think these are all creations of the material energy. Although these descriptions invoke our idea of lotus and lily here, because sometimes we also offer those lotuses and lilies. Here these varieties which are mentioned, they are not creations of the material energy. Prabhupada is pointing it out. Even the impersonalists like Shankaracharya, he also accepts that Narayana Paro Avyaktad. Narayana is beyond this material creation. So the varieties which are there on the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord, they are not ordinary material creations. Here, all these lotuses or any of the things that we see, they are all just shadow items. They are not real lotuses or real lilies. There are no real elements here in this world. They are actually imitation elements or shadow elements. So people looking at the varieties in these shadows, they become fascinated and they start chasing to be happy in the shadows. But in the shadows, let us say you see a nice mango in the shadow, and then you jump and try to catch the mango and then eat. Doesn't make any sense. Our endeavor to enjoy in this world is like that. We are just chasing some shadows, and then if somebody is able to get hold of some shadow, then he feels he has become successful. And then when he tries to enjoy, he will be left with disappointment, because after all it is a shadow thing. There is no reality. So Krishna explains that the entire material world is like a shadow or a reflection, a perverted reflection. In the 15th chapter, he mentions that Urdhva Moolam Adhashakam. There is, this world is compared as an inverted tree. And that is nothing but shadow of the original tree. The real original tree of varieties, they are present in the spiritual world, and they got reflected into this world as only a shadow. The Prabhupada beautifully points out, where can you see a tree with the roots upwards and the adha shaka, the shakas are coming down? Where will you get this experience? Prabhupada says, on the banks of a water body, there is a tree, but its reflection is in the waters. There you will see the Urdhva and Adhashaka. So devotee should be thoroughly convinced that there is no real variety in this world. It is simply a shadow or imitation. Like if we say imitation jewelry, or we say what is that? Rolled gold, imitation gold. Actually, it is not gold. It is an imitation gold. It looks like gold, but actually it's not gold. Similarly, the varieties here looks very real, but actually they are not real varieties. So, as soon as a devotee understands by reading Bhagavad Gita, he sets aside the entire varieties in this world as just imitations. So here the Lord's, the variegatedness on the Lord's body or his form, this is the real form. The Supreme Lord's transcendental form is the real form. That's why it is so pleasing to the eyes of Kaddama Muni and all the great devotees. Manasparsha smitekshanam. And not only that the Lord is real and his body is transcendental, he is a conscious personality. He is a conscious person. Who is also conscious person means he is interested in relationships. Everybody enjoys in this world only through relationships. Just by accumulating some varieties, nobody can be happy. There should be people. Relationship means not only with matter, but it should be with the personalities, other conscious personalities. So when Kardama Muni has meditated on Krishna for 10,000 years, the Lord appeared and he is pleased with the Kardama Muni. So the Supreme Lord has all the emotions. He has feelings. And so when he saw Kardama Muni, he is so pleased, he is smiling, smitekshanam. Very nicely he is smiling and glancing on Kardama. He is looking at Kardama like that. So this is what the devotees want. We want the glance of Krishna on us. We want the Supreme Lord to glance on us. That is the goal. One should render service to Krishna in such a way, such a pleasing way that the Lord is willing to glance on the devotees. is always actually ready to be glancing on the devotees, and he is waiting for us. He is available, he is present in various forms. That's why Prabhupada is saying the goal of Krishna consciousness movement is to directly give Krishna. This is, Prabhupada is the process of Krishna consciousness is to deliver the form of Krishna directly. That's it. This is Krishna consciousness. The process is in such a way, always it delivers Krishna's form to the devotees. So the Lord is there, and is a conscious being. He has emotions and feelings, and he gets attracted to a devotee by his devotional service. This is the only way to attract Krishna. What is that? We should render service in such a nice way that Krishna becomes pleased. So here Kardama Muni is highly fortunate. Lord is satisfied with his meditation. So Prabhupada is saying, after 10,000 years of meditation, it's not that Kardama Muni saw some imaginative form in his mind. It is said manasparsha, not that it is some imagination. He actually saw someone standing in front of him. And then not only God is here, not alone. He is on Amshadeshe Garutmataha, on the Garuḍa. He is on the shoulders, the Lord is standing. See these descriptions. So whenever you go in front of Garuḍa, remember these descriptions. Devotees, they accept. Prabhupada is saying here, these descriptions are authoritative, and a Krishna conscious person takes them directly. He accepts these descriptions directly. No more interpretation. There is no gauna, vritti. Gauna means you interpret. Directly you accept as it is, and then acts on them, preaches them, and practices devotional service. One has to act on these teachings. So our day-to-day darshan is a lively interaction with the personalities who are present here. We are fortunate to be in the midst of these supreme personalities, and we have an opportunity to render our services. So a devotee feels these descriptions, and his day-to-day life, they are same. He is living in the same Srimad Bhagavatam world. There is no difference. What the kind of feelings or visualization you get by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and the same thing is given here by Prabhupada's mercy. That's why Prabhupada says these temples are like embassies, Vaikuntha embassies. You will get to know a little bit of Vaikuntha here. So there is no difference. That's why Prabhupada is saying our process is to deliver the form of Krishna directly. So early morning we come for Mangalarati. Directly we are looking at Radha Krishna, Radha Govinda. Directly the form of Krishna is being given. And then we are worshipping Tulasi, Srila Prabhupada. They are exalted devotees of Radha and Krishna. Again directly. So here Krishna and his devotees are non-separable. As soon as you see Prabhupada, or as soon as you see Tulasi, automatically you are also having darshan of Krishna. When you are chanting in front of Tulasi, Lord is also there. They are inseparable. So directly we are touching Krishna and his pure devotees. Then we have Sankirtan. The Sankirtan, the process which is given by Panchatattva, Mahaprabhu. Again, directly you are coming in contact with Krishna in his holy name. Then we have Prasadam, directly contacting Krishna. Food Krishna. This is sound Krishna, then there is food Krishna, the Vigraha Krishna. Everywhere Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Opportunity is there to be absorbed in Krishna. And then after that, we are rendering services to Prabhupada's mission. That is Krishna's mission. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam. So this is Lord Chaitanya's mission. Directly we are in Krishna's mission. This is again Krishna's. And then you are dealing with the devotees. They are also Krishna's devotees. And then evening we have nice Kartika Krishna Vallabha. It is very dear to Krishna this month. Out of all the 12 months, this Kartik is very pleasing to Krishna. And then Krishna's form as Damodara we are worshipping. So there is a vrata. Whole month we will be offering these ghee lamps while singing Damodarastaka. And then, so there is Shaina, we see the Lord's last arati, and then remembering all these things, the devotees goes to bed. And if he is fortunate and he has read Krishna book, he may also dream Krishna, and then he gets up excitingly in the morning in order to again see now a differently dressed Radha Krishna again. Now you can see how directly this process is so much centered around Krishna. That's why Prabhupada is summarizing here. Process of Krishna consciousness is to deliver the form of Krishna directly. That's all. No imaginations here. And so Prabhupada is also saying these descriptions are given in the Vedic literature. Like he is quoting from Brahma Samhita. Devotees should know this Brahma Samhita very thoroughly. So here it is mentioned, Chintamani Prakarasadmasu. The Lord's abode is made up of a stone. Here we have bricks. But there the bricks are Chintamani bricks. Made up of Chintamani stones. And then Lakshavruteshu surabhirabhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrasata sambrama. He is served reverentially by hundreds and thousands of gopis. And each gopi is Lakshmi. Lakshmi sahasrasata sambrama sevyamanam. This is Lord's position. So, it is not easy to have the darshan of Krishna or to, understand these descriptions. That's why it is mentioned in the same Brahma Samhita, Vedeshu Durlabham. It is actually not easy. But then things becomes very easy, Adurlabha becomes very easy because of Atma Bhakto. Only because we came in touch with a Krishna's devotee. A pure devotee of Krishna, only he can deliver Krishna to anybody else. If somebody has received Krishna consciousness, it is only because Prabhupada has delivered Krishna to him. Prabhupada is simply distributing Krishna all over. Only a pure devotee can do that. So that's why it is in one of the songs it is mentioned, Krishna se tumara, the Lord is yours. He is Prabhupada's Krishna. What we are receiving is Prabhupada's Krishna. So that is the mood of the devotees. Unless we go through Srila Prabhupada and understand Krishna from his purports, there is no chance to get in touch with the reality. There is no chance to understand the Lord's this eternal form full of wonderful variegatedness. So that's why Prabhupada is saying these things are not manufactured by material energy. And finally, Prabhupada is concluding the perfection of yoga is not voidism or impersonalism, but actually to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. So Prabhupada has given the process how we can directly come in touch with Krishna, and then the most easiest form of being in touch with Krishna is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోర హత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోర హత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులు